So moving over there, you still had an open heart for people and for God, or like how did you feel after leaving that toxic situation to enter into something that it sounds like was a little bit more healthier?
It was honestly kind of it's hard to really fully articulate even to this day, because the pastor that I started my ministry under, he was a huge influence over me. And once he ended up taking another position at another church, which really was a big reason why I sort of lost that connection to the church that I was serving at, because that proximity was not as close as it once was.
Yeah, he wasn't there to see the level of hurt and
Exactly.
stuff that you were going through.
It's hard to say what my connection was to church. It's when you've worked at a church for like in a full-time position, your vantage point is a little bit different than the average parishioner. You get to see the sausage made, and you get to see how everything it comes together. So usually the members of a church get the polished version of it every Sunday, but they don't see the background. They don't see what it takes to actually operate. So my relationship with God, in a weird way, I feel like I found a way of separating that between the profession of ministry. They weren't the same thing.
Elaborate on that a little bit.
This might sound
Let it sound how it sounds.
you can be a pastor and not have a relationship with God. You can grow a
100%.
massive church, right? And not have a relationship with God. Like, you can do the work of ministry without having a relationship with God. Like, the two are not like the you can literally, because church is a system, right? And if you understand how the system works, you can have a successful church without necessarily having a relationship with God. Like, you can grow a church without prayer. You can grow a church without fasting. You can grow a church without barely even reading your Bible, right? Like, you don't have to do all of these things, as long if you know how to articulate, and preach, if you know how to raise money, if you know how to organize, you can build a large church. So, and I'm not saying that's just, I think, something that people have to understand. Like, church really is a business, and it has so many business elements to it that after a while, when you're working behind the scenes inside of a church, you can begin to separate your personal relationship with God with how the church functions. And there was a part of that began to happen with me, where I was like, I can work at a church and my heart not necessarily be in that particular organization. Like, it's just, this is a job, this is a profession, and you can do that. So when I saw the opportunity of working at the church that we moved to, I saw it as, okay, this is an opportunity for me to work and to help, provide for my family. I didn't necessarily see it as a place I was called to. I guess that's a way I can say it. In terms of my relationship with God, I had to really rebuild that and re-examine that, like, from the ground up, because of what my experience was at the previous location and what I experienced. I had to really reevaluate what my relationship with God is, and really finding a way of separating it from the church business, so to speak. I don't even know if I answered your question, but
No, you did. But the new environment that you were in, was it a conducive to fostering that rebuilding of, or did it even allow you space to rebuild your personal relationship and faith again?
yeah, yeah. I would say it did. I was able to build new relationships with individuals there that really helped. I was able to kind of separate myself from the previous environment. The pace began to be a lot more, I would say, a lot more stable. Really a pace that allowed me to kind of think, because that was something that was really big with the where I worked at before. Like the pace was so rapid where you're not even able to really think. And you're not really able to process everything that's going on. It was a unhealthy pace. It was one that was all about what you gave, not really what you received. So it kind of made it really difficult to process everything that was going on. And I feel like that time that I spent in California really allowed me a time to process.